We have a major update on a Rock versus Roman Reigns WrestleMania match. Plus, a top WWE star's contract is expiring, and John Cena retirement plans have been revealed. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. New TKO board member The Rock is still in line by the looks of things to, at some point, get into it with Roman Reigns, despite the fact this is now clearly an issue whereby, well, he works in management. He can't fight with the wrestlers. This is the Attitude Era.
Never happened in wrestling before. Yes, The Rock appeared on Hot Take shortly after the news of his appointment as a TKO board member and was asked about the possibility of wrestling Roman Reigns, and he said, "I'm a long gamer." And sounds really weird, doesn't it? I'm a long gamer.
So like he really loves Legend of Zelda.
He loves Minecraft by the side.
And Minecraft.
I'm a long gamer and I like to build. If myself and Roman Reigns were to main event WrestleMania, and I mean this very respectfully, of all the WrestleManias prior, because I grew up in this business and I love it, but we could possibly put on the greatest and the biggest WrestleMania of all time.
Touch of hyperbole maybe, but nah. Yeah, big talk. And then he goes on to say, when it comes to a match between The Rock and Roman Reigns, there's a chance.
Oh.
I love this business. I love pro wrestling. I love WWE. But I also have this deep passion to grow it and to build it, like Minecraft again. And if we're going to do something like this, I want the world to watch.
Very interesting. It feels like even in this interview, he's still working. He's still promoting the business of wrestling to us, saying it could be the biggest and greatest WrestleMania ever if they were to clash. I really find the idea interesting because there's been a lot of speculation recently about whether he or Roman would clash at Mania, in Australia, or at a different event, maybe in Saudi Arabia, maybe in its own specific event, not tied to any other pay-per-view. But The Rock here has specifically mentioned WrestleMania as the stage. He seemed to do it quite instinctively as well.
And it's a stage that he's very keen on, according to The Observer, who says, according to WWE sources, Johnson has not officially signed a deal to wrestle for the company, but the key word about that is yet. It is not known that he is willing, it is known that he is willing, and said to be wanting to do a match with Roman Reigns, and is strong on doing it at WrestleMania. But it's not locked in. It was suggested to us the idea of seeing how much Saudi Arabia would pay extra to get a Dwayne Johnson match, given the crazy numbers they paid for boxing matches, although it was noted that Johnson himself sees WrestleMania at this point as what he is most interested in. But those seem to be the two leading possibilities. So I'm excited for WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia in a year's time. We'll marry all the things.
WrestleArabia. There's also been a lot of chatter. The Observer goes on to... The Observer thing's finished now.
Finished.
There's also been a lot of chatter about Cody Rhodes and The Rock's relationship after we saw that candid shot of the two talking backstage at Raw Day 1, where obviously The Rock then came out and, in many people's eyes, has possibly cut in front of Cody in the queue for the main event of
Is that what he's
WrestleMania.
saying in this picture, do you
I'm
think?
going to possibly...
Do you mind if I just go first? I've only got bread. You've got a full trolley.
Fightful Select have some details on this meeting for us, saying that several people were around to hear the exchange. Fightful were told that the nature of the exchange, which was before The Rock went out there and cut that promo, was that of support towards Cody and what he's been doing. Those that Fightful spoke to said they got the feeling that The Rock wasn't there to stand in the way of anything, but did know that it was before his promo, and most people didn't know his head of the table line was coming. Although you'd like to think that he would have told Cody in that moment, I'm about to go and say this.
I'd love it if he didn't.
Oh my word.
Hey, looking forward to seeing you fight Roman. Hey, I've got to go to this thing. See you in a bit.
God.
Roman, I want to fight. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, mate. Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's an
Didn't connect the
interesting one.
dots.
It's very interesting because I wonder if The Rock's...
Cooking.
Yes, but also if he's got a longer time frame on this than we're all assuming. Maybe it wouldn't necessarily be this year's WrestleMania.
He might think much longer term. I mean, because there was talk of them doing it last year, but in far as like Rock's got a vision of how big this is, and whenever he's asked about it, he's like, "It needs to be big. It needs to be big." I was like, "Well, put it on the moon." Like I don't know. It's like it's one of them where I think that he doesn't just want But he doesn't want just like a match graphic. It's Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
He wants there to be a bit more to it. He wants it to be more all-encompassing of not just the wrestling world, but the entertainment world.
Yeah.
Where that means Roman Reigns gives him a spear on the red carpet.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yes.
That's the.
Yes.
I think when he talks about it being big, he wants it like, showdown on a red carpet.
Isn't there a meme of Jason Momoa who doesn't look unlike Roman Reigns, creeping up on someone on a red carpet as if to do a spear?
Yes.
They could make that meme real. They could make it really happen.
They could do that.
Oh, my word.
How exciting to have a wrestling feud that's promoted through WWE programming and Getty Images. That's the sort of big that Dwayne Johnson's thinking about. Am I right, kids? Am I right? There had been a lot of word around WWE ahead of The Rock getting a board seat, that he was trying to land some sort of contract or a deal. This comes from Fightful. They say nobody expected anything, the scope of what happened this week. I guess he was trying to get the rights to the name The Rock. He's got that, plus the house. They also added to Fightful that The Rock has been a proponent and supporter of Cody Rhodes ever since, for many, many years, even while he was in AEW. He was a big fan of Cody.
Well, money where your mouth is, Rock.
Yeah.
Put him over if you're that big a fan of him.
Yeah.
Let him pin you clean in the ring.
One crossroads, get yourself back to the board. Some news about a current champion within WWE whose contract is coming to an end.
Yes, Finn Balor, according to Wrestling Inc. founder Raj Giri, who says Finn Balor's WWE contract is up after WrestleMania. The word I've gotten, he says, is that he hasn't been approached to renew this contract yet. Fightful also confirmed this, but they added that Finn's WWE contract is up this year, but not immediately after WrestleMania, instead saying it'll be up within a few months of WrestleMania. And they add that, the news about him not renewing this contract seems to be in line with how WWE are approaching contracts at the minute. They're doing it sequentially when they expire. So that explains possibly why Drew hasn't re-signed yet, why Finn hasn't re-signed yet, and it's definitely interesting though.
Do you think maybe that we might see a few more re-signed now, as away from what you said about it being sequentially, now that this Netflix deal is out there? Do you think maybe it's a case of waiting to see how this particular house of cards fell?
That's a good point. Signing people who they know that they want to be a central part of their product going forward.
Yeah.
There could definitely be a case for certain wrestlers approaching them going, can I have a new contract, please? If that's the case, that'll be interesting to see what happens.
We want to keep an eye on Cora Jade on Instagram sharing a photo post-surgery. There she is, her leg very heavily braced after she suffered a torn ACL a couple of weekends ago. She has that photo with the caption, "They say in your darkest hour comes before your dawn." TTYL. Talk to you later.
Jade suffered a torn ACL injury during a match on a recent NXT house show a few weekends ago, and sadly it means she'll miss pretty much the rest of 2024. It's so soon after she came back from her previous injury as well. It's very unfortunate, but hopefully, it seems like she's in high spirits as much as she can be given the situation, and hopefully when she comes back, she gets an even bigger and better reception.
Hopefully. Now, John Cena is our final story of the day. He was on Good Morning Britain this morning.
What?
Yeah.
No.
A friend of mine shared it on their Facebook. I didn't know until he shared a photo of John Cena, and the caption underneath said, "Mermaid Ken from Barbie."
Oh.
He's done nothing else of any significance. Mermaid Ken from Barbie.
He beat the Big Show at WrestleMania,
I think if I'm Mermaid Ken beat the Big Show at WrestleMania. He spoke on Entertainment Tonight last night as well, and he revealed that he's planning to wind down the wrestling nonsense.
He said, "I made a promise to the consumer early on, to WWE fans, because I know how tough it is to be a fan. You've got to come out of pocket, and WWE has a ton of content. It takes a lot to be a passionate fan, and our fan base is passionate and global. I never wanted to go out there just for the sake of going out there. And I'm going to be 47 this year. I feel great, so inside I feel great, but I know what it takes to be a WWE performer night in and night out, and I don't ever want to just go out there and do it just to do it. I want to have the passion, the same passion as the fan base, and I want to give them exactly what they give me. The miles on the speedometer say, hey, that's got to be done before the age of 50. So 3 years' time.
Got 3 more years.
That's very interesting that he's kind of done the opposite of Bryan Danielson, who said, I'll wind it down now, but I'll just keep popping up occasionally.
Bryan Danielson, who's gone, I'll wind down now. My daughter's asked me to wind it down, but also no.
But also I'm going to wrestle Carter in the Tokyo Dome. But from This year, I believe he said he's going to start winding it down, but there's no hard date on when he's going to actually
Did he say
retire.
with his hand behind his back?
But Cena's done the opposite, and he has very much set a hard limit before I'm 50 years old.
Yeah, and do you know what? He's in a position where he can just happily wrap up at 50.
Yeah, and I think fair play to him. I think that it gives him a greater chance of having a big, fitting retirement match, a proper emotional send-off. I was about to say, not that they wouldn't give Cena that anyway, but whenever I think that, I think about Kurt Angle and how kind of underwhelming it was. Nothing against Baron Corbin, but an opponent that had little relevance towards him and quite an underwhelming end to a legendary career. So I hope that Cena does get that big retirement in a few years' time. And I feel pretty confident that he will.
I think he will as well. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.